morning, garden friends. It's week 7 of This Week in the Garden, and I'm headed into the garden to harvest some arugula and a French breakfast radish for breakfast. So come with me as I walk in. It's nice and cool this morning, but the day is going to heat up, so I'm actually pretty happy to get out into the garden right now when it's nice and cool. So my arugula crop didn't turn out quite as I'd hoped, and I'll show you. And this is actually typical. I don't know why, I don't have an explanation, but my first arugula crop is always kind of crap. Every year, every time. And I know part of it is flea beetles. There we go. And you know, this looks great. This looks really pretty. Minimal flea beetle damage, but some. But then over here, we've got patches where it's kind of brown and not very attractive. But that's all right. We'll harvest some. Back up here and grab my bowl. We'll harvest some from this end. First arugula of the season. I'm so excited. I'm going to make myself a fried egg sandwich this morning with fresh arugula, a sharp cheddar cheese, and a sliced French breakfast radish. And I can't wait. Alright, so now I'm in the radish patch. I'm going to find the perfect couple of radishes. There's one. Oop. Isn't that beautiful? Knock the dirt off. Oh, perfect. Just gonna harvest a few of these. Oh, here's a big one. Should probably harvest that before it gets too bitter, too hot. Oh, look at all these. I'm so excited. All right. Crops harvested. I'm going to go in and make myself some breakfast. Now there are many, many reasons I garden and grow vegetables. I love it. Food sovereignty, being able to grow my own food and be independent, at least partially in that respect. But really it's this, being able to get up in the morning and wander outside in the bright sunshine and pick myself something for breakfast, or in the evening, pick myself something for dinner. It's so rewarding to be able to grow your own food. And that, I think, beyond anything else, is why I enjoy it so much. So I'm going to go back inside and make myself some breakfast, and then get to work on a very long list of chores for this garden and the other gardens. So we'll see you later on. Alright, so I'm back in the garden. It's the end of the week, and I wanted to just summarize what happened this week. As has been the case in the last few weeks, the week just got away from me, and we had a lot going on with the house construction and other things, so I haven't really been filming much, but we've been working hard, as you can see. So here are the two big fruit rows, and they are now covered in a very thick layer of wood chips. These are arborist wood chips we got from our local tree guy, and so we covered both beds with a good thick layer, keeping it well away from the fruit trees and the plants so that you know, it doesn't injure the plants. So yeah, we wanted to stop the weeds from coming up through these beds. I don't want to have to spend my time weeding these beds, so I'm so happy this got done. It was almost a full day with my husband and I working, and yeah, we got it done, and I'm so happy. So this will sit for the rest of the year and not need weeding other than right around the plants, perhaps. So that's a big relief. The other thing that happened yesterday, actually, is I tarped the half row that was left from my friend Sue's garlic. Just put a tarp over it to keep the weeds out. And my other neighbor that wanted to come and take a row, she's a bit delayed this year. Not sure if she's going to make it, so I decided to tarp her row just to keep it weed-free for her should she decide to come back. Over in the potato row, we get out of the bright sunlight so you can see it, we hilled up the potatoes. These are the red Nordland, and then the Yukon Golds start, I believe, right about here. You can see the difference in the plants. So the Yukon Golds, we hilled them up. I'll show you a clip of the before. But we hill them up for a couple of reasons. The primary reason is to prevent the tubers that grow underneath the soil, that are close to the top of the soil, from getting any sunlight and turning green, which is poisonous. You can't eat green potatoes, or if you do, you'll get very sick. So we hill them up to add more depth of soil over the tubers that are forming. You also get more tubers as you hill these up because the stems will also produce roots and more tubers. But also we use compost to hill up our potatoes. So the compost adds a big boost of fertility, and that will help keep the plants hopefully healthy longer and produce more potatoes. So this is just the first hilling. We probably hilled them up 3 or 4 inches. We'll probably do a second one soon, you know, in a couple of weeks, and get them even further hilled up and hopefully in good stead for the rest of the season. I am noticing a bit of flea beetle damage. God, flea beetles are just pox. This won't really hurt the potatoes too badly, and usually, like with tomatoes, they attack tomato plants too. It's usually just early in the season, and then they move on to other crops. So hopefully this damage won't continue. I don't see any active flea beetles on the leaves right now, so I think this might have been damage done earlier, and they've kind of moved on. All right, I'm going to skip over a row, get out of the sunshine here. So we planted our squash row. Very excited about this. These have been sitting in the greenhouse for the last few weeks, getting big enough to tolerate being out here. We've got 6 zucchini, which is going to be way more zucchini than we will ever be able to eat. A variety called Dunja. And then a summer squash called Gold Star. I'm going to have to look that up and put it on the screen. So I've got a few of those. And then some Costata Romanescu. Did I say that right? Let me pop that up on the screen as well. Romanesco and Costata, I don't know what order those are in, but a beautiful Italian zucchini-like squash that's striped, green striped. It's lovely. Lovely to eat. And then we get into the vining squashes. I believe this is honey nut. We've got 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. And then we've got Tip Top acorn squash. So I've got 3 of those. It's going to be more than enough. Oop, random lettuce. Just haven't had the heart to pull this lettuce until it's ready to eat, even though it's growing in an aisleway from lettuce that I didn't clean out last year before it went to seed. I just love that. Random heads of lettuce growing everywhere. There's another one over there. Yep. All right, so where was I? Acorn squash, and then we have Waltham butternut squash, or lettuce. So we have 3 Waltham butternuts, and these will get big and just vine all over. Here are our sweet potatoes, and unfortunately we've had a little bit of a setback. These are Beauregard sweet potatoes, and these are looking great, actually. These are starting to leaf up. They're alive. Even the ones that look sort of sick are definitely budding up, so I'm happy with these. But as we walk up the aisle and transition into the Mahan sweet potatoes, you'll see a distinct difference. These are not looking good at all. And there's one here that looks okay. That one might. I haven't given up complete hope yet, because there's quite a bit of stem underground, and so it's possible it could push up some new growth. I think that one's okay. But a lot of these are looking pretty dead, which is sad. They actually looked pretty rough coming in out of the box, so I guess I'm not surprised, but it's a disappointment. We'll see. I'll keep watering them and keep hoping for the best. But at the very least, we have 25 Beauregard sweet potato plants. That should give us plenty of sweet potatoes. So I'm excited about that. All right, let's walk around. So here is the squash row. And then I'll show you this on the way back up, but this is the pea, tomato, and cucumber row fencing. And then we have a partial row here of some more vining cucurbits and another random lettuce head. These 3 are Sugar Baby watermelon. 2 and 3. And then we have some honeydew melon. Louis Wondermelon. I will put the name up on the screen. It's a random packet of seeds I got from Seed Savers one year, and I've grown them before, and they were really great. So I had leftover seed, so put 3 more plants in, and we'll see what happens with those. 1, 2, and 3. Just going to swing over here. Actually, the sunlight here is at the totally wrong angle for this, so let me go back up here where we can get out of the glare of the sun. Oh. So here are the jade, these are the fillet, compact bush fillet beans, and they're looking great. And the peppers are already forming peppers. Very excited. These are red bell peppers, King of the North, I believe. So let me swing back around to the pea row. The sugar snap peas are probably pushing 2 feet tall at this point. So they're getting there. It'll be a while before they bloom. So they're looking great. And then here are the snow peas, also looking really nice. despite the heat and no rain that we've had. So here are the tomatoes. These are the San Marzano tomatoes, and they've really started to grow. It was sort of touch and go for a few weeks. We were a little worried about the tomatoes. Thought it was probably more transplant shock, but they've really greened up in the last week. They're loving the heat that we've had, and as you can see, they're already forming beautiful tomatoes. And then these are the Blue Beach tomatoes that we were really concerned about. They've also woken up and have greened up quite a bit, and so are looking really good. What I wanted to show you, and hopefully you can see it in the glare of the sun, are the cucumbers, which have really started to settle in and take off. You can see, let me get out of the bright sun here. You can see new growth. They're looking really green. This is good. So these will start to reach up to this fence here and climb up the fence and hopefully give us lots of yummy cucumbers. This is Marketmore 76, which is the only outdoor cucumber I've grown. It's just a trusty, reliable variety and does really well out in the field. Okay, I'm just kind of doing this like live almost. I'm not gonna cut out all the walks up and down the rows. Show you my real morning walk. All right, so this is the first, this is turtle, the black turtle beans. Looking great. As I pause the camera for a good cough, it's still pollen season here, so I'm coughing quite a bit. Black turtle beans, and next to it the pollinator row, which is really starting to take off. All right, black turtle beans, and then this is our first planting of the jade bush beans. We've delayed the second planting a little bit. No, wait a minute, we did a second planting. Oh, I'm losing track here. Nope, here we go. These are all black turtle beans. I forgot how many black turtle beans we planted. These get harvested. You allow them to produce their beans. You allow the beans to dry on the plant, and then you harvest them as dry beans. So quite a bit. Be able to stock mine and Sylvia's pantry. And then here's our first planting of the jade bush beans. We've delayed the second planting because we planted the fillet beans. So we're going to plant the second batch of jade bush beans next week, down at this end of the row. All right, let me just skip over. I'm going to step over. I'm going to go all the way down, actually, rather than step over the row. All right, so here's the pollinator row. It's funny how things look sick for, you know, a couple of weeks after you transplant them, and then all of a sudden they just suddenly like come alive, and it's amazing. So here's one of the sunflowers already putting on new growth. This is great. This is the Bright Lights Cosmos. It's got buds. We have a zinnia ready to pop, and bachelor buttons ready to go. More zinnias. Oh, I love it. I'm looking for a Tithonia. Oh, look. One of the Cosmos. Lovely. There we go, Tithonia. Okay. Tithonias are notoriously difficult to get to, like, medium-sized stage. Once you do, they grow fine, but they just seem to be very fussy when they're young. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the Tithonias that I grew that weren't looking great as little seedlings will do better out here in the heat, and they seem to be. That's new growth. More Cosmos. I'm gonna get in here already in Deadhead. This one's about to go over. Bachelor button. Oh, and here's one of the seashells cosmos. Pretty. Oop. Another seashells cosmos. One of the white ones. Yeah, so this row is looking a lot better. There's another Tithonia looking great. Zinnia. So it's starting to grow and starting to produce flowers. And I'm very excited about this. Wait till you see this border in like a month. It'll be just insane. Border. I meant row. Another zinnia. So yeah, this is doing great. Very happy with this. All right. Brassicas doing okay. I don't know, it's been a weird year for brassicas. Broccoli, it's almost like a fertility issue. We've had a lot of flea beetles. Even though I did do an organic spray for them, the flea beetles this year have been bad. So hopefully we're through the worst. The spring flush of flea beetles is always the worst. Hopefully we're through. I mean, look at the damage on this kale leaf. That's insane. So, yeah. But this kale, the curly kale, looks pretty good. So I'm not too terribly worried. You know, that looks really good. All right, so I'm gonna step over here to there's some pak choi in here. That is looking like it's ready for picking. Look at that. So I'll definitely pick some of this week. And these are cabbages. Again, I'm gonna lift this up here. A little bit of flea beetle damage, but they're definitely greening up, heading up, and looking not too bad. So we'll keep at it. Gardening is always a challenge. So this first arugula row batch, I'm going to be harvesting some more this week and then cutting the rest of it down and tarping to get the row ready to be used again. Go down here. Here is the second batch of arugula, just starting to come up, form leaves. And then next week I will sow another batch of arugula, and let's continue down here. We have a bit of weeding to do, Sylvia and I. We're getting there. So let me take you down into the corn section. We've had some interesting corn results. So this is the corn block, these 4 rows, the end of these 4 rows, probably 20 feet of these 4 rows. And yeah, there's some weeds in the middle that we have to work on this week. But as you can see over here, the corn has started coming up. This is the Floriani red corn. And you can see it's come up pretty well. This was newer seed. Look at the red on the stalk. This was newer seed. And then we transitioned to older seed. And it's hard to pick up between the weeds, but we got probably 25% germination of the older seed. So what we're going to do is Monday, it's not too late. Monday we're going to come back and re-sow all the spots that didn't germinate and hope we get a little better luck. So not all is lost. There are definitely corn plants in these beds, just not a lot. Not enough. So yeah, we'll try again. All right, I'm going to step over and yeah, ignore the weeds in the center aisle here. That's This upcoming week's project is to get rid of all these weeds because I'm going to be sowing another batch of carrots here. Our spinach, we actually were able to harvest some spinach and it's still growing. I have a feeling this is going to bolt soon because we've had so much heat lately. I just like this one, looks like it's about ready to bolt. But we were able to get a good amount of spinach off this bed, and we'll probably still get another, at least one more harvest before this bolts. The beets are starting to come up. I've been thinning them so that they're individual beets rather than clusters. We have a plain red beet, I can't remember the name, I'll put that up, as well as Early Wonder Tall Top, which is grown for the greens primarily, but still forms nice beets. Over here in the carrot row, let's see, I don't think any of these have come up yet. But over here we have, this was the second sowing of carrots, and I believe this was the Napoli carrot. So those are just starting to come up, even with the heat that we've had. So that's exciting. We just have to stay up on the weeds. There we go. Yeah, that's good. Yay. Okay. So not all is lost. And then our Yaya carrots are continuing to grow. In the final row down here, the onions are growing, looking great. Need a little weeding. You can tell I didn't prep anything before this video. Just gonna weed on the fly here. We are now entering the season of weed. Yeah, I'll have to get in there and weed that. This will also get weeded out this week. The onions are looking pretty good. I was a little worried about them because they stayed in the trays so long, but they seem to be doing okay. Definitely need to weed them though, because something like this will just suck the energy out of the onion. It'll outcompete the onion. So I got to make sure that none of that stays in this row. The Salanova lettuce, I think I'm going to cut that this week. Make a beautiful salad mix. And these are looking great despite, we've had a week of really hot, humid weather. And the lettuces are still looking okay, so I'm encouraged. These are head lettuces, and they are, like this right here is almost ready to pick. Lovely lettuce, and this is the second batch of Salanova, a few weeks behind, but not looking too bad, considering. Cool. Alright, well that is it for week 7 in the garden. It's Saturday. I'm going to be busy today with other things, so I'm going to wrap it up. So yeah, thank you for joining me. It's been kind of a crazy week, but the garden is growing, and I'm very excited about that. So do come back and join me next week for week 8. We'll see you then. Bye.